Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. And it just seemed like about 12, 18 or even 2 years ago, I was interviewing a different blockchain or crypto project almost every day on this podcast. But then, of course, crypto winter came along and everything went quiet. Fast forward to February 2020, and last week I found myself in a crypto-based conversation in Las Vegas, and that was over at the Dynatrace conference that I was covering. And I'm not kidding you, I felt like some kind of heretic when a group of people told me that Bitcoin was dead, crypto was dead, and I desperately tried in vain to explain the Bitcoin halving. But again, I quickly became aware they thought I was a little bit of a crazy man, or maybe I drank too much, so I walked away. But I suspect most people on here have seen how the media has predicted the death of Bitcoin in hundreds of articles online. But like I said, here we are in February 2020, and as my plane hit the ground back in the UK, I discovered that Bitcoin had hit over $10,000 again. However, what we have learned since last time is there are a lot of shills online who have taken a few backhanders here and there and promoting their coin of choice on forums and Twitter, just trying to spread positive news for their own personal gain. So it has never been more important to do your own research and not take financial advice off anybody on the internet, certainly not me. But I do want to tackle how crypto investing compares to traditional investing and traditional trading. So I recently discovered a company called Monarch, and they offer mobile and desktop apps, a decentralized wallet and exchange, a portfolio tracker, and a universal KYC integration. And Monarch also supports more than 3,000 cryptocurrencies. And it essentially, my understanding is it allows qualified users to buy cryptocurrency with a bank or credit card and earn up to 8.1 APR interest on selected cryptocurrency holdings and switch between hot and cold wallets, all while maintaining their own private keys and seed. So I thought it was a good time to dip our toes into the crypto waters once more. So come on in. The water is fine. Let's get Robert Beadles, co-founder of Monarch, onto the podcast and find out a little bit more about Monarch and the entire blockchain and crypto landscape right now. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Robert. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure thing. And thanks, Neil, for having me on. Appreciate it, buddy. So I'll start at the beginning. I'm a Christian father, husband, met my wife when we were 14. We were married by 17. 27 years later, we're still best friends. But as you can imagine, that getting married that early, I had to figure out how to, provide for us and things like that. So instead of going into the military or going into college, I went into construction. So I started off at this little construction company at the bottom and worked my way all the way up to the top, where I ended up running it. The boss and I got into it one day, and he said, "Hey, if you can do a better job, go start your own company." So that's what I did, and I built up one of the largest construction service companies in California. And around 2009, it allowed me to go back to my roots, because when I was young, I loved software, loved computers, loved getting my geek on. I had my Amigas, my Commodore 64s, my 18060Xs, and building bulletin board systems and all that kind of stuff. So around 2009, I got to go back into that a little bit because the construction service company was running fine without me. So I started building applications and platforms for people like the United States Post Office. And then around 2011, this thing called Bitcoin had bleeped on my radar. It had come out, in 2009, but a guy named Max Kaiser around January of 2011 introduced me to Bitcoin, and I got bit by the bug. And so I had started learning everything that I could about crypto, started dollar cost averaging in, all that kind of cool stuff. And then around 2017, everybody started wondering what this thing Bitcoin was. And people I hadn't talked to for years, they knew I was in it. And a lot of them were asking me the same questions over and over again. And a bunch of them got together and said, "Hey, man, why don't you make us a video and just answer all of our questions there, so you don't have to keep repeating yourself." So I did. I created a couple videos explaining, how to navigate the crypto waters, and it just kind of took off. And so we've done I don't know, probably 500 to 1,000 of them since, just for friends and family. And the community's grown to where I guess we're like number 5 in the world for cryptocurrency on like YouTube and things like that. And we have a TV show and podcast, and we're the face of TradingView sessions on TradingView. What else? Oh yeah, in 2017 created this thing called Monarch. So enough people had said that they didn't know how to safely store, send, receive cryptocurrency. So we created a Monarch wallet for them and gave it to the world for free. And then we created this thing called Monarch Pay. And we can talk more about that stuff a little bit later if you want. But that's kind of in a nutshell, from the beginning to where we're at now.
Wow, an amazing story. And I particularly love the stuff about Amigas and Commodore 64s. I was getting flashbacks from my youth there.
I loved them. They were awesome. You remember the old bulletin board systems where you use the phone line and, my mom or dad would pick up the phone and all they'd hear is that screeching, the modem noise.
Oh, man.
Oh, they'd get pissed.
It's amazing, though. I think both you and I are very fortunate to have been around and seen computing progress that way before the internet days, and then now obviously we're on to cryptocurrencies, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and so much more. It's great to have been a part of the whole journey, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, especially when, I'll ask my kids like, hey, man, you guys remember what a pager was? And they look at me like I'm some kind of crazy person. That's how mom used to get a hold of me, man.
Yeah. Now, as for Monarch, though, I mean, I've only recently discovered you guys, but my understanding is that Monarch aims to create this robust ecosystem of consumer, business, and investment solutions that are powerful, but most importantly, simple and easy to use. But can you set the scene and tell everyone listening exactly what Monarch is and what's different from it from other solutions out there?
Yeah, no problem. So we have basically 2 solutions. We have the Monarch Wallet, and then we have Monarch Pay. So Monarch Wallet is for the people of the world. It's a free wallet they can download. Think of it as kind of like a super app, where at the base of it, it's a decentralized wallet, meaning only you have control of your funds. So you can put all your cryptocurrency in there, and you own the seed and the keys and all that kind of cool stuff. So only you have access to the funds. So you can go anywhere in the world and be your own bank. So that was the first thing we wanted to do. Then we wanted to add more services so that way people could do other things and think of it as kind of like a bank of sorts, but just where all their financial, desires could be in one place. So if they want to earn interest on their crypto, they could do that. If they wanted to have an exchange where they could swap one crypto for another or buy and sell it and do all that kind of stuff, or keep track of all their cryptos like a portfolio, or keep track of the market cap, or keep track of the news on their favorite crypto. So we built all that, and it's free out there for the world to use. It's the best cryptocurrency wallet on the planet, if I do say so myself. We built everything, in-house. And so that's for the people of the world to be their own walking, talking bank and have total control of their funds. Then we created Monarch Pay for businesses, because businesses, they're at the mercy of credit card companies, they're at the mercy of PayPal, they're at the mercy of banking institutions, all that kind of stuff that charge them high fees for their transactions, that can actually lock them out of their own funds, that can claw back funds, they can totally freeze their account, do all kinds of crazy stuff that a lot of businesses you've heard happen to them, right? So we created Monarch Pay, where it's a decentralized, think of it as like a PayPal platform on steroids. So it does all the stuff that you would expect like PayPal to do, but it does it in a decentralized manner. So only the merchant has access to their funds in the account, and only the customer has access to their funds in their account. Nobody's between them, and nobody can claw anything back. So the merchant never has to worry about chargebacks. They never have to worry about high fees. It costs less than 1% to use. And they never have to worry about anybody freezing their account or their money. And this all happens through atomic swaps, and it happens through smart contracts. So there's no need for a middleman. And it uses stable cryptocurrencies. So merchants, they're scared of high volatility, right? I mean, you've seen Bitcoin go up to 20,000. You've seen it drop to 3,000. If you're a merchant and, you're selling socks or something, and you get your $100, for this big order of socks, and then the next day, it's worth $3 because that crypto just plummeted. Well, that sucks for the merchant. It's good for the customer, bad for the merchant. So what we do is we use stable coins and stable tokens. So that way the merchants don't have to worry about volatility. It's just like exchanging dollars. So the platform runs off stable tokens. And that way the merchant and the consumer, they're not really worried about the mad gains that they're missing out with spending Bitcoin or Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash or that kind of stuff. They're just paying like they would with dollars, except it's crypto dollars of sorts. It's just stable tokens. And so that's live today. It's free for people to sign up, and it's not even a sign up really. It's you just go to monarchpay.com. If you're a merchant, literally in like, I don't know, depending on how fast you can type, between 30 seconds to 5 minutes, you could have everything set up, running on your website. It's just an additional way for you to take money. So you don't have to get rid of Stripe. You don't have to get rid of PayPal. You don't have to get rid of your banks or credit cards, that kind of stuff. It's just, one more thing that they can use to accept payments if they so choose. And in the next 30 days, we're doing a complete overhaul. So it's going to be super, super simple for people to use. So I don't know when this is going to be airing. By the time maybe they hear this, it'll already be done. I don't know. But it's going to be like the most easy user experience for the merchant. They'll only need to use stable tokens. And anyways, it's pretty incredible. And like I said, it costs less than 1% to use. No chargebacks ever. Nobody can claw back funds. Nobody can freeze you out of your account. It's all using blockchain and crypto. It's pretty incredible.
I'm quite excited to get you on the podcast today because last week I was at a tech conference in Vegas. And as usual, whenever I'm at these kind of gigs, I ended up in a crypto-based conversation. But the general feeling from people was the crypto gold rush is over, and people were starting to look at me like I was some kind of crazy heretic. But for people that don't follow that space or have very little awareness and don't frequent Reddit forums or have any idea about the Bitcoin halving and what it could mean, what would you say to those people to get them back on board and start an increasing adoption in the industry?
Well, I think what we saw back in 2017 was this mass influx into crypto because everybody wanted these crazy gains. They kept hearing about all these Bitcoin millionaires, these 17, 18-year-old kids driving Lamborghinis, and they're like, hey, where's mine? I want a Lambo too, right? So they go all in on Bitcoin, and then guess what? Boom, it drops like 85%. And they're like, oh, crap. So that's like a major kick to the nuts, right? So people that were in it then that bought at the top, they just took, one heck of a beating, right? So that took a lot of wind out of the sails. And then now what you've been seeing is there's more and more credible people coming into the space. You get like HSBC Bank that ran like $150 billion of blockchain transactions through their own blockchain. You've got the China Central Bank that's going crypto. You got the Federal Reserve that's going crypto. You've got Alibaba. You've got Amazon. You've got Walmart. You got IBM. You've got the biggest names in the world all in blockchain or coming into it. So it really adds a lot of credibility there. And you can already see the progression from where things started, like when we were back in the days of trading, chickens for whatever, and going to coins, to paper money, to checkbooks, to credit cards, to now. I mean, you're going to start using crypto, and it's coming. And if you look, you can see Bitcoin's up from it was like $3,000 this year. Now it's back up to $10,160 or something like that as we're talking today. So you can see that things are going up, and it's starting to get more people excited. There's still the same people that got beat up that, are kind of still thinking it's kind of like a scam or something like that. But if they only got into it for the gains in the beginning, that's, shame on them, right? Because the tech is really freaking cool, and everybody's going to be using it whether they want it or not. It's coming, and everybody can see it if they just kind of look at the big guys, see what they're doing. I think all the you're never going to see that rush again in 2017. I don't think, but you're definitely going to see more people coming into the space and probably the price going up as well.
And like you said last time, there was a lot of people that got beat up and kicked in the nuts there. But for new investors coming around this time, to stop those people making those same kind of mistakes and getting carried away thinking about crazy gains, which we all know there's no such thing as a quick, easy, free lunch. So for those people, is there anything that you think they should know about investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all those other top assets before they dive in?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, right? So they have to, if they really want to be an investor in cryptocurrency, they need to first ask themselves why, right? Is it something that they believe in? Is it something they just want to make money in? Is it something that they think they have, the savvy to understand, like what it is that they're investing in, who the team behind it is, what value proposition they have, what their track record is, what's their chances of actually, going to the finish line, what's the chances of that token or coin actually appreciating in value? There's a lot of due diligence they need to do. or they can just simply rely on these so-called professional advisors and things like that offer things similar to like ETFs, where it's kind of like a basket of the top, maybe 10 cryptocurrencies. And these so-called experts, they're constantly moving the portfolio around based on what the market is doing to those top 10 cryptos. So they could, if they wanted to get their beaks wet in crypto, that's probably the safest way I can say that they could do it. And again, this is never financial advice. I'm no financial advisor. But for people that want to kind of dip their toes in the water, it might be best to do like one of these baskets where it's the top, whatever cryptocurrencies in there, and there's some, expert that's moving the stuff around based on market trends and things like that.
And the golden rule of any investment, of course, is to do your own research. There are plenty of kids on YouTube claiming to be experts. And a lot of times some of these people are taking backhanders to promote certain products. So you should always do your own research and not even listen to guys like you or me either. But is there any advice you would offer to anyone that wants to evaluate potential crypto investments and any of those risks or upsides that come with that?
No, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head there, right? There's a gazillion people out there on YouTube all talking about crypto, and they all live with their mom, or they're broke, and they're taking money for interviews or taking money to promote different projects and things like that. And that's something I'm very proud of, is we've never taken a single Satoshi from anybody for anything, not to come on our show, not to talk about anything. We've never taken any money. So it allows you to kind of stay fair and balanced, right? You don't I just tell people whether I like something or don't like something, and but never ever listen to me or anybody out there as far as for investment advice. Because like Warren Buffett said, never lose money is the golden rule, right? And that's rule number one. And rule number two is never forget rule number one, right? So that's I always tell people, if you're ever going to invest in crypto, never, ever, ever invest anything you're not 100% willing to lose, because it is super volatile. It's super early. I realize that crypto's been around for 10 years or so, but it's still a very, very early space. And a lot of these cryptos that are here today, I don't think you're going to be here tomorrow. So they have to be very, very careful. And of course, do their own research. They need to figure out why they want to get into something. Then if they find something that lines up with them and all their goals and what they plan to do, they really need to dig in and see if it's really what they think it is before they start, putting their hard-earned money at it. Because like I said, a lot of this stuff just won't be here tomorrow. There's going to be stuff that's way better, but the stuff that they think is cool today, is going to be like, I don't know, like MySpace. It's like, what happened to MySpace? I went all in, and then this thing called Facebook came out, right? So that's going to happen a lot, I think, in the coming year or two.
No, I completely agree with you there. And I think much of the problem, especially around adoption, is a lot of people are unsure and feel a little bit intimidated by the technology and a little bit nervous about asking questions in open forums in case they get mocked or laughed at. So for anyone that is listening that's new to crypto, how would you say that crypto compares to investing in, let's say, traditional investing and trading? Are there any parallels there that you think that will just help people have a better understanding?
Yeah. And everybody knows, the only stupid question is the one not asked, right? Especially when you're putting your money on something. So they should never, there's all kinds of beginner forums out there. There's all kinds of, people out there that would love to steal their money. And there's also people out there that love to, just kind of help share their knowledge. So they have to kind of be careful who they listen to. But as far as comparing asset classes, it's very similar to stocks, right? Because think of every crypto as kind of like, a stock of sorts. So I think of Bitcoin as a stock, think of Ethereum as a stock. Most people aren't using Apple stocks to pay for coffee, right? So cryptos are kind of along the same line. So that's the first thing, that they're kind of similar there. What's not similar is the actual market cap. So the market cap of crypto is only like, I don't know, what is it? Like, it's less than 300 billion, I think. Yeah. So, it's, if you look at like Apple or Amazon, they're like 800 billion to $1 trillion. So, it's the entire market cap of crypto is so small and so new. It's not even half the size of just Apple alone on its own, right? So they have to know that it's very volatile. And so just a little bit of money that goes into the market cap can push the prices up exponentially higher than in the stock market, because it's still such a small market. And money coming out of the market can drop it super fast compared to regular stocks. So it's way more volatile, and using kind of the old standard technical analysis and things like that kind of works in stocks does not work in crypto. So they just have to know that they say for every dollar that goes into the market cap, it raises the market cap up $50. So it's 1 to 50 ratio in crypto. So that's a huge swing. So they just have to know that there sometimes can be really good news for them, and then there can be really horrible news where the stock market is quite a bit more safe and stable because it's got so much larger of a market cap.
And for everyone hearing about Monarch for the first time, you did a great job there of explaining exactly what it is and how it all works. Can you expand on the role of the Monarch token?
So the Monarch tokens themselves, there's two of them. And, Monarch is a utility. So basically anybody can use it right now. It's free to download, it's free to use. But we have two tokens. So the Monarch token is a utility token that basically cuts the exchange fees in half, and it cuts the transaction fees in half. So it's kind of like using Starbucks points, something like that. It's kind of like not quite gift cards or any of that, but it cuts your fees because when you send cryptocurrencies, there's like a network transaction fee for the network to send the money. It can range from like almost nothing to like maybe 1% on some of the higher cryptos. And so using the Monarch tokens, it cuts that fee in half. Then we also have a security token that is for the accredited investors, people that have passed KYC, where legal. Those people own some of our security tokens. They're called MTS. And those people get 15% of our income, and that income is paid to them in Monarch tokens. So this isn't like a token or a coin like Bitcoin or something like that where we're promising any kind of gains, and not that Bitcoin does either, but most people buy Bitcoin because they think it's going to go up. With Monarch tokens, that's not the premise behind it. It's a utility that allows to save money basically in transaction fees.
So what are your biggest challenges working in this space? Is it adoption or is it something completely different?
If you think about adoption, we're not really ready for mass adoption yet.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge, I would say, is that a lot of the tech that we need for this stuff to work doesn't exist yet. And so we're having to build it. So everything in Monarch is basically built from the ground up by us. So the stuff that people weren't able to do, like there was no way for them to send like, stable tokens in a decentralized reoccurring method, let alone just send stable tokens without having Ethereum as a secondary coin to pay the network fees. So we had to build all that from the ground up, code everything, figure out how to do it. And so a lot of the stuff that, that you would expect that would already exist to offer, solutions to the problems out there, we're just having to invent and create ourselves. And we're getting very, very close to having something that the masses can use that's going to be better than anything out there. And I'm hoping to have that done in like the next 30 days. So I would say the biggest challenge would be just the stuff that you really want, the stuff that you really need to make stuff really cool for people doesn't exist yet. And we're having to make it ourselves.
Now, I'm not going to ask you for any predictions or end of year or when moon or if crypto winter really is over. I think there's plenty of people discussing that already. But how do you see this space evolving this year?
Well, I think that with the halving coming up, and that's the first week to second week of May, we're not exactly sure yet. It's just based on transactions. When that happens, the miners are going to be paid half as much as they're currently being paid, which in theory, and if you look backwards, and past performance is usually kind of a prediction of future performance. And so when you look backwards at all the halving events in the past, you've seen that Bitcoin doubles in price to 2,000% upward motion in price. And you've seen that historically. So I would imagine, and again, this is never financial advice, I would imagine that Bitcoin is going to go up in value. I had predicted it would hit 11,000 by halving, and it's already at 10,000, almost 200 right now. So we still have some time to go, and I placed that prediction like last year. But anyway, so I think that Bitcoin is probably going to continue to increase in price this year. We may see some dips where it drops, and then we may see it bounce back up. And what that's going to do is it's going to raise the entire market cap for all cryptos out there. And so rising tide rises all ships. And so when you see Bitcoin go up, a lot of the other cryptos are as well. So you're going to start seeing more people excited about crypto because their wallet, when they look at their wallet and they see that it was $1 yesterday and maybe it's $2 tomorrow, and when they see that, that 2x return, it's going to spark another, flood of people coming in. I don't think it's going to be as drastic as in 2017. But I think that that's going to start bringing more awareness to crypto. And then when some of these big companies start dropping a lot of their really cool solutions and their blockchain-based, applications and things that benefit, the world over this coming year, That's going to do a lot for adoption, exposure, and I think we're going to start seeing the market cap just across the board go up and probably hit $1 trillion within probably the next year. And it's going to be, great for a lot of people. And then there's going to be a lot of people that just continually think that it's a scam and it's a bubble until they realize everybody's using it. And they're like, oh, I guess it's not. Just like the internet thing, right? Just like they thought email was a scam and a bubble. And now imagine not having email or internet or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's so many videos online. There's one I've seen with Bill Gates and I think it was David Letterman talking about the arrival of the internet and everyone was laughing at him. And there's a similar one with David Bowie being interviewed on the power of the internet and everyone mocked them. So there is a lot of parallels there with that birth of the internet and the way crypto seems to be heading. And I was doing a little bit of research on you before you came on today. Am I right in saying that you're a cryptocurrency TV host as well? Is that right?
Yeah, so we have a TV show on Biz TV where we, talk about crypto, talk about blockchain, talk about just the markets in general, different financial instruments, just different, just basically whatever the viewers ask us to cover. We do that, as well as some of the projects that are out there. We talk about them or bring the founders on and get, allow the world to see whether they like it or hate it or whatever they think about the projects. But yeah, basically it's just a TV show for the viewers that we cover whatever they ask us to.
Incredibly cool. And for anyone listening that would like to tune into that TV show or even find out more information about the great work you're doing with Monarch, can you just point them in the direction of how they can do that?
Yeah, I'm super easy to find. Probably the easiest way would just be cryptobeadles.com. It's just cryptobeadles.com. There's links to all my socials. There's links to, the videos, the YouTube, the TV shows, all that kind of stuff. And then Monarch is super easy to find as well. It's just monarchwallet.com or monarchpay.com. So monarchpay.com is for merchants. Monarchwallet.com is for the people of the world. Just want to be their walking, talking bank and have total control of their finances.
Fantastic. Well, I'll add all those links to the blog posts that will accompany this podcast episode. But more than anything, I've just really, really enjoyed being able to come at it from a high level for people tuning in all over the world that are fairly new to this kind of scene and a little bit afraid and nervous and a little bit some of the simple questions that we don't always see the answers to out there. So a big thank you for taking the time to come on here and sharing that not only your story, but making it very accessible to everybody. So thanks again, Robert.
Hey, anytime. Thanks a bunch for having me. Love you all. God bless. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Man, listening to Robert there, it reignited my dream of wanting to make just a little bit of money on the side from investing in tech and maybe join him in the Bahamas one day, drinking cocktails deep into the night, chatting about the days when people thought we were crazy talking about crypto. But I suspect we have a long way to go yet. Like Robert says there, we are still in the infancy, even though it has been 10 years since crypto first arrived. So for those reasons alone, I think you have me for at least another 1,000 daily podcast episodes where I'm going to continue to try and get everybody excited about technology. But I'm not a guy that claims to have all the answers. I chat with a guest on here, listen to their insights, but then turn the virtual microphone over to you and ask you, everybody listening, for yours. If you would like to talk about crypto, Bitcoin halving, come on this podcast or simply say hello or send a question, please just email me techblogwriter@outlook.com, or you can get me on any of the social channels, whether that be LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Just look for Neil C. Hughes. So I cannot thank Robert enough for coming on here and making a subject that is very intimidating to people outside of our tech community a little bit more welcoming. Because like I always say at the end of every episode, technology works best when it brings people together. So if we want to get more people involved, we need to lose that elitist thought process that we often see online where people look down on others that haven't got the same knowledge or insights as them. But hey, like I said, I could be completely wrong. So send me your thoughts, keep those emails coming in, and I'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, with another great guest who's going to talk about how technology is transforming their world, their business, their life. It could be anything. So a big thank you for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.